So as we wait for her to start her molting process, I guess I'll do a separate video here of just the Aphonopelma in general for anyone who's a beginner. If you've been in the hobby, this is no information for you, but there's not a lot of information out on the web or online or boards about the AC, the Aphonopelma Chalcodes. It took me forever to find legitimate information. So I'll give you a little information about my specimens. I can only speak to these guys. I have 3 Aphonopelma Chalcodes, and one is currently molting, but give a little insight about what to expect if you find one this size. This one that's on his back is probably around, at the moment, maybe 2 inches, tops maybe a little bit bigger than that. I got her almost a year ago. She was about a ½ inch when I got her, so they don't grow very fast. I mean they grow very, very slowly. They rarely gain any considerable size when they in between molts. They do molt frequently if you feed them right. I didn't feed them anything that would speed up their process. They don't particularly like worms, at least my specimens don't. These young specimens. I'm sure my bigger girl would take them, but these guys prefer crickets. They don't eat viciously. They don't attack viciously. I rarely see them attack. If I put a cricket in, they usually just either stand there or they'll get away from the cricket, and they usually end up stalking it out later. The reason for that being is most of the time, at least my specimens, are too busy excavating their enclosures. I did not put this in here like this. I always put this substrate in, just normal. Pack the substrate in enough for them to burrow, enough for them not to fall and hurt themselves. But usually, if you're going to be a beginner getting one of these, one thing I would highly recommend is do not clutter their enclosure with things that they don't need. They do not need a water dish at this stage. They like it a little drier. They don't like wet substrate. They're not heavy drinkers. They're not heavy eaters. They just kind of go on the ground and do their thing. At least my specimens do. The one that's on her back here, this is Baby Gray. She doesn't spend as much time on the ground as far as this one. This one's name is General, and she spends almost all her time on the ground. If she comes out, it's usually because she's something. I put too much water in and it drove her out of there. The humidity got too high for her down in there. This one actually spends most of her time crawling around on top of the enclosure, and then she'll occasionally come down and walk on the substrate. She does burrow, but usually she just kind of builds a little trench and hangs out in there for a little bit. Their temperament, they're very skittish, but can be very docile at times. I wouldn't handle mine because they're very skittish. They get spooked by anything. You don't need a lot of room for them. They don't move around much. They seem a little restless at times, but most of the time, if you give them just a little critter keeper like this for 2 inches, we'll see how. I'm probably gonna have to rehouse this one afterwards, but she probably won't gain that much size. If I change the substrate in here, she probably would do fine in here again for another molt or 2. Same for this one. What else can I tell you about these guys? They are very easy to take care of. Nothing hard at all. They don't seem to have any problems as far as eating everything. They're very consistent tarantulas. They're good for beginners, in my opinion. They can be handled if you get the right species. I actually did handle this one quite a bit when she was a little younger, and I probably could do it now. I just don't prefer to handle my teas. So, especially when they get to be a little bigger and a little faster, and some of them a little more skittish, and it's kind of hard to tell what their temperament is from molt to molt because they seem to change. So, alright, this is my bigger girl. This is Venus. I call her Venus Ivory. She's one of my new additions. She is around the 5-inch mark. Give or take a couple of centimeters there, but she is actually one of the largest in my collection right now. And this is what they call the Mexican blonde, desert blonde. You can see the blonde carapace. It doesn't quite pick up all the colors in here. My room's a little dark, but very, very goldish, yellowish carapace. Mine is very creamy to the point of almost being white. From a distance, it actually does look white. Her legs are very, very blonde, and she's very docile, very beautiful tarantula. I highly recommend this species if you don't have one, especially if you're a beginner. They're great tarantulas, very hardy, and very easy to take care of. They like a little more on the drier side. She does drink, but she's a big girl, and she's just a gorgeous tarantula. And but it will take you a while if you get one this size or smaller for it to get to this size. And it's going to take you a long, long time. This girl here is, you know, almost 8 years old, in between 6 and 8 years old, and you're talking maybe gaining 1.5 inches a year if they're consistent. So if you're looking for one this size, you might want to try to find you one online, somewhere around the 3 or 4 inch mark, so you can get to this stage faster. You know, that being said, that's one of the reasons why I bought this big girl. I normally don't buy bigger teas because I like to watch them grow. As anyone who watches my videos know, I love the process. I mean, I just bought a 1/2 inch LP, which shows my dedication to watching them grow and documenting them grow. This one here, like I said, if you want it to be this size, you're going to have to go online and order it. And I think it's worth it if you don't want to wait. Not everybody has to. Because it is definitely a gorgeous tarantula and an eye catcher and a good display tarantula, especially for the ones who, in their minds, a lot of people, this is what they envision when they see a tarantula in their minds, and actually see it in person and see that it's, you know, very beautiful and not so you know, deadly as some people who don't understand these tarantulas are. I mean, it's a good species to show off as far as perhaps getting them out and handling them. I don't think I would ever handle this girl, even though I probably could. I just prefer not to handle them. So, okay, there's the Aphonopelma Chalcodes little update / info for beginners for you. Again, I do recommend this species. I wouldn't mind finding me a male somewhere so I can maybe mate this girl with one. Alright guys, well, that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching.